welcome to another edition of, this is not the best 3 exercises for back bends and shoulder mobility you'll ever need. Just another 3 different exercises for your back bends and shoulder mobility. First exercise. This one either really sucks or is really easy, and I'm going to offer variations for which lane that you're in. Unfortunately, I'm in the lane of it feeling really sucky and really challenging. If you're hypermobile in your joints, you can still develop a certain strength in range of movement with this drill. If you're hypermobile in your shoulders, you might not even be on this video at all. So, this one here we're going to play with. Our spinal flexion, shoulder flexion, lift-offs. The action of the arms, as they lift above the head, we have an associative and compensatory action of the spine as well. That naturally shows up. If you want to lift the arms up, what does the chest do? It wants to help out with the movement, very natural. But here we're working on isolating the range of the shoulder flexion. So how do we do that? We make sure we stay in spinal flexion so it doesn't try to join the party, really. So, variations to play with. A block or a book or a pillow or something that offers a little bit of leverage might help. You're basically going to come into child's pose and come as far back as you can whilst being able to have your forehead on the ground. It might be very challenging for some to bring the hips down to the heels with the forehead down, so you might have to slide it a little bit forwards, which is okay. Just making sure we're in this posterior tilt of the pelvis. If it's very challenging from here, you can place your head onto a prop, like so. This will make the lift off a lot easier as well. The action I'm going to demonstrate with this one to make it just a little bit easier for myself. So I'm here in child's pose, head resting on. 3 actions here. Elevate, so I'm going to get a sweet spot. We elevate the shoulders, we shrug the shoulders all the way towards the ears as much as we can. From the elevation, we lift the hands off, keeping the arms straight so I'm not bending the arms. I lock, lengthen, lift, lower down in elevation, and release. Just so we can really find the right lift off into the shoulders. We kind of come out of the shape to be able to come back into it. Elevate, lift, release, and depress. Lift, release, and depress. My hands are about shoulder width distance on this one. If that's quite easy to lift the hands, you can bring the head a little bit lower. Same action. Release. Lengthen, lift, release, and depress. If that feels okay, forehead to the ground. I find this quite hard. So I elevate. I'm already in quite a lot of my full range capacity, so it's very hard for me to lift and come back down. So I like to rest my head onto a block. There's some people that might look at this and be like, what the hell? Can't you just lift your arm? People can fully rotate through the shoulders. One to tap into, if you're finding it quite easy to lift the hands, we have this external rotation of the shoulders, so we create an undergrip, and this is going to limit how much we find this internal rotation into the shoulders for the lift off and the dislocation, and this will block it a little bit more in a way that's actually which can be beneficial for the exercise. So you can try, if you're someone who can have the head down and lift up, I can't even lift it up at all here, and you can lift your arms all the way up to there, even though I can't demo it, there's people out there who can. We can try the under grip, exactly the same action. Elevate, lift, release, and depress. Like so. I recommend doing 8 to 10. And when you do the last rep, hold into that squeeze for like 10 seconds. So let's just say I'm finishing my last few reps of the lifts in a nice easy tempo. Lift and hold and squeeze for about 10 seconds. in that 10 seconds, you're actively trying to get the hand incrementally higher and higher and higher, even if it's fractions, millimeters at a time. Last one to just isolate the strength and range of the shoulders, the shoulder flexion. Next drill, what should we do? We're gonna do a wall drill, actually. Gonna do the wall puppy pose. Some of us might be familiar with this posture here. Sometimes it's nice to bring it onto the wall, which helps kind of keep this into a bit more of a contained shape. So, let's get wall space. Oops. Can you see here? Hope so. Coolies. So this drill here, hands about shoulder width distance, maybe a little bit wider, onto the wall. You want to come close enough to the wall where your chin and chest can meet the wall. To increase the stretch, we can bend into the knees to slide the hands down. And be careful with this one, because if you move too quickly into the extended legs position, because it's closed chain from both sides, there's only one direction that the force in the body can go, which is in the back. It can't kind of be released through the extremities. So there has been people, not in my classes, that have moved too quickly and kind of jarred and compressed into maybe the erector spinae somewhere below the T-spine in the lower back, or maybe just jarring the lower back. So be careful of this one. Here, chest chin on the wall. Slide down and extend. How does that feel? A few breaths there. If it's okay, slide down and extend, but make sure we're not going so far that the chest lifts away from the wall. So learn to meet your threshold where the chest can stay on the ground, like so. So really getting that cervical spine extension and T-spine here. Details when you're in the stretch. Remember when I kind of said about holding the stick like this, how it forces this wrap of the shoulders, this external rotation and lift? We're trying to cue that here. So instead of the hands being that direction, the palms are still grounded, but I'm trying to wrap this shoulder down, 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 down on both sides. I like to imagine got a tennis ball, I'm trying to trap it in my armpits and squeeze it in and contain it in there. So same thing. Meet the wall, chest, chin, slide down, meet the range. And then here, I'm lengthening the hands up whilst keeping the depth and wrapping my outer shoulders down and round and squeezing that. And in that squeeze, there might be a bit more leverage into the lift. So again, find that wrap once you're in the meat of the stretch. I wouldn't recommend doing more than maybe 2 to 3 drop downs as you ease into the stretch, and then find about 30 to 60 seconds in the stretch. You're going to know when you hit the sweet spot. So enjoy it. I like to stay in there until I can redefine the stretch sensation. So it was one thing to meet the stretch and be like, okay, time there. But there's one thing to allow your nervous system to adapt to the sensation and constantly reframe it by utilizing the breath and having that power of redefining how your body's interpreting quite a new territory for the body. That's why we're stretching. That's when we develop flexibility. We're trying to push the boundaries, or tease I wouldn't say push, but tease the boundaries of our capacity. So once I'm here, I'm not just trying to grizz through it and just be like, okay, 30 seconds, what's the time? But I meet the stretch. I'm feeling the intensity. But I breathe. I listen to the sensation. See if I can redefine the sensations. It's maybe not that tight. Doesn't mean just because it doesn't feel tight anymore, doesn't mean I just go into a new depth. Maybe I'm here and I just let the body go, okay, this is nice. And next time we come there, the body's not caught off guard. It doesn't react and go, shit. What we're doing here, we're not usually here through the breathing, we consolidate, and it's like, we've been here before. Why not go a little bit further? And that's where the consistency of the practice will help you increase range. Just a little bit of intelligence with the breath there. Next. Last one. get the perspective all fancy. Okay. Okay, the pied de résistance. I absolutely love this one. These T-spine pulses. There's a few variations of these ones. I'm just going to demonstrate one of them here. God, this one is, should have got something lighter. I'm going to use a 1 kilogram kettlebell. Just holding it aside. You can just add a little bit of weight. You can use a bag and just fill it up with something to make, it wants to be more of an anchor rather than like, for now, than like a deep weight that we're having to like really fight with and rep out. It's more of an anchor for our chest. So here you can use a ledge, you can use anything that is probably about this size that you can replicate. Just use your imagination with what kit you might have. You can use, if you're in the gym, you can use a standard bench, dumbbell bench kind of thing. Probably the best thing you could use. We've got chairs here. So, I want to line up my sternum somewhere around the back of my sternum, the bottom of the shoulder blades, onto the edge of the apparatus with the arms extended. So you want to find that sweet spot. So I'm not too high where it's creating movement into the lower back and around the sort of like the kidney area. I want to have just around the bottom of the shoulder blades in line with the sternum, the center of the T-spine. So here I've got length through my arms. This dumbbell is helping anchor me into the space. It's a bit too light, this one, but just for the visuals, just so you can see. I think the kettlebell would be a bit too heavy for me. So here I'm pulsing my lower back down towards the ground, and then squeeze and tuck the tailbone down, and then from there we pulse and lift, pulse and lift. I like to do about 10 reps. After the 10th rep, holding isometrically, and the same type of breathing. Let the body feel safe in the shape. It's very common for people to hold their breath, especially in backbend positions. All you're doing is teaching your nervous system that it shouldn't be there. If there's any movement that's forcing you to react by holding your breath, you're communicating something quite intense to the body. If you meet the intensity, but with this perception of openness, of receptivity, then the body responds to that as well. So, that's the third one, our T-spine pulses. Optional weighted, depending on the weight, above the head. We're just going to stick with that variation today. Explore that. And even like kind of experiment around it. If there's any other variations that you want to do with your arms or hips or holding it, that's for you. But here, I kind of just prescribe about 10 to 12 reps with a hold of about 30 to 60 seconds. 60 seconds might be a lot. 30 seconds in that shape. And see how it feels. Hope you enjoyed the thing. That was 3 of not the best ever exercises you could do for your shoulders and back bends, but just another 3. Hope you're enjoying this series. Hope you're enjoying these videos. Hope you're enjoying the sessions. If so, like the thing. To offer an extended form of gratitude, feel free to buy your boy a coffee. You'll see a link down below. Or maybe even subscribe to your boy. Keep this dialogue. Keep it reciprocated. Other than that, love, gang. Peace.